Hello, and welcome to our Lunch and Learn for today. How are you doing, Jeff?
I am good. How are you?
I'm doing great. The weather is still warm, so I am a happy camper. I'm always very happy whenever, the weather is at least above 70.
And you made it back to North Carolina, okay,
I
after a night
did.
of investor meetings and that kind of thing?
I did. It's always really cool to hear what's up and coming.
Cool. Well, so let's chat a little bit about um, messaging for today. I think that this is. Uh, I give people another minute or two to sort of get here, but you know, I think the first time I came across this, I thought it was very insightful. It changed the way that I thought about how I communicated with prospects, and I think it ties into the idea when we talked about uh, uh, testimonials and social proof. Like, when do you share your social proof, and who's going to care and who's going to connect with it? Like that kind of a conversation. I think that this gives you that insight. And so what we'll do is go through the different levels of awareness, and these also map to the value journey. So I think we're going to put the value journey video in the chat so that you can go take a look at the value journey and see how these things connect. But the level of awareness is really important for figuring out what kinds of content you want to deliver at which time. And so we'll go through what is the level of awareness, and what type of content. And then later you can start thinking on your own. We didn't put together a template for this, but you can start thinking on your own. Okay, what type of content? What is some of the stuff that I could do for each level of awareness? Um, and that will fix your messaging. It'll get you communicating in the way people are listening. Make sense, Carla?
Yeah, that makes sense so far.
So the first thing I want to remind everybody of is October 17th. We have this really cool event coming up. It is live in White Plains, New York, where we're going to make cybersecurity less work and more profitable for MSPs, because cybersecurity is a pain in the neck. And if you can get someone to give you tools and give you templates, and all you have to do is slap your logo on them and be cutting edge, that's a pretty cool thing. So we've arranged this really cool event that we're doing together with Traceless and Fornix and Acronis and Skippy AI, and it will be live in White Plains, but we will also record it so that you can check it out later if you can't make the actual live session. If you can make it, be there, because it's going to be a very interactive session. But if you can't, register anyway, and then and let us know. There's a little tick box. Let us know that you'll be there for the recordings, and then we'll get the recording out to you later. But that's what's coming up in our world. We're very excited about it. I think it's going to be a very, very cool event. Don't you think, Carla?
I do think so. And we're so excited that we actually have an additional guest joining us today. Just kind of summoned him when he spoke about cybersecurity, and Joe will be joining us. So,
Oh, Joe's joining us. Oh, great.
yeah, you just started talking about our event, and he's just so excited that he just is in the waiting room, and he's just so jazzed to join everyone. So I will actually let him have the spotlight, and then I will be, the amazing voice in the background.
All right. Hey,
Oh, I'm
Joe.
so excited.
We're just
Hey,
talking
Jeff.
about our October 17th cyber security palooza that's coming up.
I am
It's
so
going to be
excited
great
about
fun. And we're talking about messaging today, right? And we're going to go through the different levels of awareness. And so I think I've changed a little bit of the messaging around the event, because I realized that from the sort of the unaware standpoint, um,
it. Yeah.
I was saying the wrong thing, right? So we made it more about like making cybersecurity less work and more profitable rather than, hey, get tools, which you kind of want to think about later, but not at the beginning. But look, I think we've dwelt on that enough. StarCardManage.com/cyber. Let's talk about levels of awareness. Sound good, Joe?
Yeah, it sounds great. I'm so excited about that.
So we talk about the value journey and the fact that you have to take people through this journey. They have to become aware of you. Before you know them, they're completely unaware. And then by having conversations with you, reviewing your content, getting to know you, they become progressively aware. And we like to look at it in terms of 6 different stages of awareness. And that first stage is unaware, right? Where they're literally unaware. They don't know who you are at all. Nobody can ever buy from you when they're unaware. They must become aware of you, right? Like this is like the most minimal requirement. And then once they're aware, they have to become aware of the problem. So they may be unaware of you. They become aware of you, but they also have to connect you to a problem that they're having. So the next question is, do they get the problem? Do they get that you get the problem? They want to see that you understand the problem and that there's that connection around the problem. And then once there's agreement around the problem, they start to become solution aware around understanding what the solution is to solve that problem. Were you going to say something, Joe? Did I cut you off?
No. It's great. It's brilliant, right? Because if you're not, and often sometimes people have a problem, they're not even clear of what their problem is. So it's that problem awareness is
right.
Yeah, so I'm gonna let you go. Keep going, but
And so
yeah.
people often don't know what the problem is. They just know what the symptoms are. So what
Yes.
we can do is say, these are the symptoms that you have, and this is the problem that's causing those symptoms. And then here is the solution to solve the problem that's causing the symptoms. And then once they agree on the solution, then you can talk about the product. So here's the product that provides the solution that solves the problem that cures the symptoms, right? And so it's this conversation that you're having when you're engaging people, and it aligns directly with prescriptive sales. It's the same thing, right? So talk about the problem, talk about the solution, and then you can talk about what the product is and what it is you're going to sell. And then there's a point where they're actually most aware, where they know your product, they know who you are, but for whatever reason they're not buying, and that's sort of a different level. And then there's this level of disengaged, where you're completely disengaged from the conversation. And that 6th one is sort of this isn't your traditional awareness model, but this is but in these days we are engaging with people the whole time, and you'll see people come off your list and they sit in that disengaged bucket for a while, and the question is, what can you do with those people to bring them back into the fold? So what I want to do is go through each of these and talk about the type of content that we have to have for each. Sound good, Joe?
Sounds awesome. Awesome.
All right. So first one, Joe, is, it's right on the list,
unaware.
So before they know you, before they get to know you, they are unaware. That means they have no knowledge of the problem or a perceived need for the solution. So again, they might be symptom aware. They know, if you can't sleep, you can't sleep, but you don't call it insomnia until somebody tells you, right? But it's so they feel the symptoms, and you have to talk about the symptoms and engage people on the symptoms, right? But they're unaware. And so here's the question. If somebody is unaware, they're unaware of you, they're unaware of the problem, they're unaware of the need for a solution, what type of content, Joe, do you think will engage them and draw them in?
Well, you could talk about their problem.
You could, but they're not aware of the problem.
Yeah, so
even before that, they're not aware. They're not. So how do you get? It's very obvious, but it's not obvious, right? So if you think about stuff when you're scrolling around, what catches your attention?
Well, some how to, like how do you do this, or something that talks about the symptoms that I have, not the
Well, okay, good.
problem.
Talk about the symptoms.
Yeah, yeah. Something
That's
that
that's
shows the
true,
symptoms,
but
or some how.
it's a little
Yeah,
bit simpler than that. When we're unaware, like even before you get to how tos, even before you get to instructions, which really depends on me knowing what the problem is. The
yeah,
thing that attracts us most often is entertainment,
yeah,
right? Like it's
yeah.
most often it's like, oh, because something's fun or funny, or you're looking through LinkedIn and you see, I don't know, a dinosaur sweeping up the driveway, or like the different things that pop out at you that you're like, oh my gosh, that's so funny or fun or entertaining or whatnot. Like that
Yeah.
entertainment aspect is the thing that sort of reaches out, pulls the eyeballs, and then drags them in so that you can now have a
Yeah.
conversation to make the person problem aware, right? And I realized today, like I've been talking about this commercial for a bajillion years, right? Like
Yeah.
this is the Dollar Shave Club commercial. Oh, I don't know why. So there's an image in the middle that doesn't belong there. But I'll explain why that image is there in a second.
Yeah.
But this Dollar Shave Club commercial was, they did this like 13 years ago, I think, or 12 years ago, and it's had 28 million views. And I'm
Wow.
still talking about it now on a video like 12 years later. That's the level of entertainment that this commercial brings to
People are
uh,
the people who have not seen, the youngins that haven't seen this commercial, after they watch this, they're gonna go Google it and they're gonna
go
find this
Google it,
commercial.
the
They're gonna
Dollar
watch
Shave
it.
Club commercial, and just it'll be like 28.5 million plus one, right? So
Yeah.
go check it out, right? And that's the thing that draws people in. Now, this image is actually me making another slide, so I copied and pasted an image, and I accidentally put it on this slide, and I didn't know where it went when I hit paste, and now I know where it went.
Yeah.
But another way to do it's not just shock and awe, but it could also be a relatable story, right? So these, I don't know if you've seen these Atera commercials, but they're actually pretty good.
Yeah.
These Atera
Yeah,
ads
they are pretty
in,
good. Yeah,
in
yeah. I love
YouTube,
that.
where it's got like this
Yeah.
guy and he's like telling the story, and he's engaging about life as an MSP, right? And it's all stuff that you can really relate to, and you're like, oh yeah, I get that. And he's kind of funny and engaging, and you like to watch these things, so that works pretty well. And another thing that really works here is amazing demos. So I don't know if you've seen these mouse cases, Joe.
No.
Mouse phone cases. They're great. So I broke phone screens every couple of months, and then I got a mouse phone case, and now I don't break phone screens anymore. And they do these demos, and this is one where they go up in a helicopter and then they drop the
The
thing,
phone
the
out?
phone from the helicopter, and show that the screen isn't broken. Now the internal electronics may be broken, who knows? But the screen is fine, right? And there's another one where they like go into an Apple store and they buy an iPhone and they put the thing on it, and then they start throwing it around the store and in the street, right? So these like amazing demos, not just a regular demo, but the demo that really makes you think, oh my gosh, like that takes you back and makes you think. Those amazing demos are great entertainment value, right? And then another thing you can do in this area is sort of data or research. You're like, hey, here are the 12 books every MSP should own, right? I don't even know
Yeah.
what Guards is. I was just looking for somebody who had a list of books, and now I
Yeah.
found this, and now I go to their website, and now I can look at Guards, and maybe Guards is solving a problem that I have.
Yeah.
Maybe they're not. I don't know, because I don't know anything about them, but I became aware of them because of the data and research that they have. So these are some of that entertaining type of content that
Yeah.
that you can create.
Yeah. Entertaining and educational content is great. Like this is what these are the books you should have, and so it always is gonna that stops the scroll most of the time.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But heavier focus on entertainment at the unaware, right? Heavier focus on entertainment.
Yeah.
But then we move on to the next stage. Okay, and I'm going to see if I can get you to guess this one. But when people are problem aware, so that's when they start to understand, or they're in this stage where they get that they have a problem, but they're really unaware of solutions. But they're like, oh yeah, I'm not sleeping at night, or oh yeah, my computer's been hacked, right? Like they get that there's a problem there, but they don't know that there's a solution. So imagine, Joe, that you've got a big problem, right? You've got a big problem, and like the world is coming to an end. What do you think you kind of need at that point to carry on?
I need answers. I need solutions.
Okay, you need,
I
yeah.
need I need education. I need
Well, but
understanding.
okay, but even before that, you're very stuck on like we're gonna get there, Joe. You're gonna get there. But what
I
you
know, I know.
actually need when the
Yeah,
world is coming to an end, right? When the world is coming to like think of the EMT who goes to help somebody. Before they
yeah.
help them, what do they tell them?
They
You're
have to
gonna be
triage them.
fine.
You're gonna be fine. You
You're
need
gonna
to
be
know that
fine.
you're gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay.
You're going to
You're
be
gonna be
okay,
okay.
right?
Everything's good.
So what
Everything's
they're
good.
doing is they're giving them hope, right?
Yeah,
So at this stage, when you know that you have a problem, when you know that you've been in this car accident and your leg is falling off or whatnot, you need hope that that you're not going to die, right? When your computer is falling apart because it's hacked, you need hope that somebody can figure it out, right? So it starts with hope, and it's like hope before you even get to before you get to solutions. Now, hope content can be solution oriented, so a great way to do hope is just questions and answers. So you're just answering questions, and this also works for problem aware content. But what's
yeah,
key here is that somebody has the answer, and this guy actually built his whole business around just answering questions on Quora, right? Just giving people answers, giving them the hope that there's an answer out there. Another one is like um, how tos, right? And this is also instructional, but you want to sort of focus here on the hope on getting out of the
yeah.
problem that you're in. Another way to look at that is case studies, and case studies are good because you can show how somebody else solved the problem, even if it's not your customer or your case study. By telling the story, you claim a part of that case study, and you give
Yeah.
people hope, and they connect you with the hope.
And what I like about this particular one, case studies, is that for MSPs, they are so abundant because every single product that you sell has case studies that have been
Yeah,
researched and written by professionals and all that stuff. And you can, because you're selling that product, right? Take ownership of that case study. This is what this problem has solved, and this is what this product has solved for people, and this is how it solved it. And you can go through the whole thing, even if you've never, if that wasn't your case study, you can still own it
right.
because you sell that product. And so for MSPs, it's really critical that they understand the case studies of all their whole stack, right? Because when you understand the case studies of your stack, you can use it for this purpose and use it really effectively. And there's a lot of great collateral that's already
and
built for
and
you.
and I'd also emphasize the fact that you want to tell a story around the business solution. So one of the problems I find with all these little products is you're not actually selling those products. You're selling your product. And
Yeah,
so you want to be sure that whatever stories you get from that are stories that really talk about the transformation and the problem that you solve, and not just hey, here's a tool, and look at how this tool comes together. but
yeah,
but those
yeah.
those marketing materials can really be a great place for you to find data. Absolutely. So then you
But,
move on
but what,
from problem
you,
aware. So
what, what you said is critical, though, is it has to be a story, not a like this is how the product works. That's not what you're doing when you're doing case studies. It has to be a
right.
story of a business case. So
It's
that's
it's a story of
yeah,
transformation. It's a story of
yeah,
how the business did something. It's not a story of how a product works because nobody cares at this stage. What they're looking for is hope. They want to see that this
yeah.
thing can be done. Okay? And then we move on to the next one, which is solution aware. So now they know they have a problem, and now they become aware of the solution. They become aware of the potential solutions out there, but they have to choose from the solutions. They have to figure out which of these options is right for them. And what they need here is a degree of clarity. They need to be clear on what the different solutions are, on how they work, on how it could work for them. So here you're really going to talk, tricks and hacks, right? So this is how you use our solution to solve your problem. So I took this from our website. The MSP organization's a structure. A lot of people like it. They need it. This is like, hey, here's a trick or a hack or a way of structuring your business for success. And
Yeah.
and when people are in that solution space, like, I know I need to get my operations sorted out. Well, this is a great way for them to start to see how we can help them get started, right? um you can also look at demos, right? So and demos are like all over the place in the MSP space. I just took this one from Super Ops. They actually have a really good demo. It's like you go in and sign up,
Yeah.
and then you can like set up in 90 seconds, and they really thought that through. So it's pretty impressive how you go from zero to engaged in Super Ops. So I like their demo, and I think it's very informative as to what the product does. And if you are looking at your different RMMs, and you go to the different products, and one of them just has a much better demo, that's going to give you the kind of clarity that you need to decide which one you want to engage with, or which one you want to hire. And it's the same thing for your clients. If they can get any sort of demo or tips and tricks or hacks or something along those lines, because now they know what the problem is, they're trying to figure out which solution is the best solution, and you want them to gravitate towards you. And now when the next stage is, once they're solution aware and they get the solution, now you need to talk about the product. So now they know about your product. And when they're product aware, they're not sure if that product is right for them. And the way to think of this is you want to get them off the fence, right? You want to get them to take that next move. They need assurance that this is the right thing. So they've gone through that demo, and now they're like, okay, I'm not 100% sure. So they need assurance so that they become 100% sure. And what this looks like is often just a sale. Hey, here's a big discount. So like when Kaseya started with their 365 and it was 399, a big sale, and like, so I know about the product. I don't know if it's right for me. Well, here's a big sale, right? Go try it out, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now you're not going to pay all that much money, so you can give it a try and you can see how it works, right? And another wonderful one is just the traditional, and you see this everywhere, is this idea of like bonus stacking. So this is,
Yeah.
Ron, I guess it's Popeye, is famous for his infomercials, and at the end of them was always, hey, but wait, there's more. And then you'd be like, oh, hey, you can get the flyer, and you can get the book, and you can get the funnel, and you can get the this, and you're
You
gonna
get the
save all this
basket.
money.
You
Like,
get the basket.
oh
Don't
my
forget the
god, like, how can
basket.
you
Yeah.
not buy
Don't
it?
forget that basket.
Say that again.
Don't forget the basket, Jeff. You get the basket.
You get
You
the
say
basket, right? So it's like all of this stuff. So I don't think you need to be quite as chill as he was, but you can certainly you can certainly talk about, hey, here are all the extra things that you get to kind of push somebody off the fence, right? But this is also the place where testimonials are so important. So when we talked about when we talked about the social proof last week, and we talked about how the importance of social proof. This is one place where social proof is crucial when they're
Mhm.
trying to make that leap of faith to hire you, that when they can see that other people have done that, other people like them have done this, and they've gotten the kinds of results that they want, it makes it very easy for them to buy. That assures them or reassures them that this is going to be valuable and something that they want to buy. Good. So from there, we move into most aware. So now what's happened in the journey is that they know about your product. They may be reassured, but they've decided not to buy for whatever reason. They've kind of gone cold. And so what's the next? They need some reason to buy now. They need something to re-get them interested or re-engage them in the product. And the thing that tends to work here is novelty. Oh, here's something new. Here's something that we haven't had before. And you can do that by adding features. Like, so here's some new features that we're adding. And you've seen that with the proliferation of AI. Hey, look, we have
Mhm.
AI now dials your phone, or whatever. Like, there's like a whole bunch, everybody's adding these new features.
It's a
And part
coaster,
of that,
but it has AI.
it's a coaster with AI. It will match itself to the drink that I don't know, maybe it'll make
That's right.
the drink, maybe finally something will make the coffee for you. But anyway, some sort of feature release, like here's an extra feature. That's a great time for you to talk about it. You can see that with ChatGPT, actually, that every
Yeah.
couple of months they have a feature release, or you see that with Apple. I mean, that's what Apple does. Everybody's aware of the iPhone, but still, every year they've got, oh, here are all the
Yeah.
new features. It's like, now it's black. Oh my God, I have to have it, right? Or now it's round. They were squared on the side, and then they were
Yeah.
round, and everybody
Round
had
it,
to have the
round it,
round
round it.
one, and then they went from round back to square, and everybody had to have the square one, right? But that's just the feature release. Everybody's aware, but how do you get them to come back into the fold? And
Yeah.
another way to think about this is actually product launch. Jeff Walker made a whole career out of guiding people through launches, and the reason the launches work so well is that uh, it's making it look new or exciting. You bring in all of these aspects of, like, it's time bound, um, and it's uh, new and engaging, and so the product launch is a great way to do things, and you don't have to have a new product to do a product launch. So the
You
market's
could do a
really
product
good.
launch every 6 months.
You can do a product launch every other week. Like, I don't care. Like, you can launch the same product over and over and over again. There's no
Yeah.
there's no real limit to it other than your own capacity. But going through that launch process it can be very attractive and very converting.
Yeah.
But still, Joe, even with all of this, some people just don't buy, and they become disengaged, right? They were aware, but now they've become apathetic, and they become disinterested, and they're just not engaged with you or your brand or your business anymore, right? And they've gone through the whole journey, and whatever. So yeah, I know about those guys, but I don't know. And what they need now, right? What gets people engaged is romance. Okay,
Oh, very.
it's
Bring it.
it,
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, I knew you were gonna love this bit, right? But it's like getting people connecting with people on sort of that human level is what we're talking about here, right? Because they've seen who you are. You could beat them over the head with your product and your solutions all day long. They're still going to come back and get products and solutions from you, all that kind of stuff. But now they need some way to connect with you, and that's what the romance is about, right? And this is a great story of Guttel. They an air conditioning company, and they actually went downhill, and there were big issues with them, and then the son of the original founder went back and bought the business that was falling apart, and then he started telling his origin story around how, he fixed air conditioners when he was a kid with his dad, and all of the things that he did, and he created this whole origin story around the business that was really able to break away from the decline that it had been through. And we tell the origin, well, one of our origin stories, with you at the kitchen table, and your MSP is failing, and I always, jazz it up a little bit by making your kids very hungry and looking at you, and your wife is sort of hanging over you with a bat, and she's like, ah, right? But and that's sort of what caused you to get into, helping to fix MSPs, was that transformation that you have. It's a great origin story that we like to tell over and over again, and it's that kind of romance content that can bring people back. Another way to think about it is sort of like the real you, so bloopers and backstories, and what's going on at the office, and getting into who you really are. And this is just Morris Jenkins. They do this thing where they're like, they're playing a song and they're all dancing, and they dance throughout the whole uh, factory, and they do all this stuff, and it's very fun and silly, right? This is one from Super Ops, and I don't remember what they were making fun of, but it was like a flash mob outside of a conference, and they did this whole song and dance thing, and I think they were making fun of Kaseya, but I actually don't remember. And it's but it's, the idea is they're just having some fun here. They're just letting their hair down. It's just the real you. It's just it's not trying to put on airs, and that's the type of thing that tends to re-engage people and bring them back to the fold, right? So those are the different levels of awareness, and and you can think of kind of how it maps to the value journey. I'm just going to go through this quickly, but you might see an ad, right? And this is that unaware, is that you need that unaware content, and then you engage with some problem aware content, or maybe some unaware content, right? And then they become solution aware. So now you're talking about solutions when they subscribe, and they become product aware. And then if they don't buy, then you hit them again with some problem aware content, right? And then get them excited again, so they come and they do this again, right? And now they buy. You get the aha moment. Oh, if that doesn't work, then they won't buy. So then you hit them again with some romance content, right? Because now they've gone through the whole process, but they're kind of disengaged. Then you romance them a little bit, and so maybe now they go through the process, and they come back, and then they buy your next product, and so on. And that's the idea of how you would use this through at least that bottom part of the journey to get people excited. And then with your upsells, you can use again some of this romance content, or some of the problem solving content, and then you would use stories and testimonials and community management to get so if they're not engaging around testimonials, then you can use romance content, like now they're your clients, so you romance them to get them to do testimonials, right? And then and so on and so forth. But that's how the different levels of awareness are going to actually map to the customer journey. So the challenge for everybody here, right, is you go back and look at that list, right? We've got that unaware, where you need entertainment, problem aware, where you need hope. You've got the solution aware, where you need clarity, product aware, where you start to need some assurance, most aware, where you need novelty, and disengaged, where you need romance. And the idea is for you now to go back and think about, what are some of the things that I could do for each level of awareness, and start creating some content. And this is all geared towards your avatar, towards your target market, in a way that makes sense for them. And that's the idea of the levels of awareness and the content. And I think I'll just stop there. And then Joe, what do you think? Any questions? And Carla, maybe you could take the screen away.
one of the things is really when you look at all of that, not so much questions, but one of the things that I notice, especially as we work with the MSPs, when we work with MSPs, one of the things that I notice a lot is that MSPs go straight for the excitement right at the unaware stage. So they're doing
Yeah, they're
excitement
delivering a
content.
lot of like that most aware content
Yeah,
around
they're
this is
doing
why my
most
product,
aware
this is why my
content.
product.
This is why my product, and the person is still unaware down here. And
Right.
um, and so that's that you know, and you say this all the time. It's like walking into a bar and going, "Will you marry me? Will you marry me?
Yeah.
You marry me?" And
Right.
just yelling that at people in a bar. Maybe if you ask 2, 3 thousand, maybe somebody will say yes. You know, but
Yeah. At some point, right?
yeah, at
There's
some
some
point somebody
fool
will
who
say
will
it.
marry you without knowing you.
But if you actually go through the process, right, of thinking about, well, what is it, and that's why it's important to really define who your buyer is, because when you define who your buyer is, you can actually start to think about, okay, well, these are the problems that they're having, and now I can start to really talk about those problems, and start making them aware first that I exist, and entertain them a little bit, and then move through that process. But you can't do that if you haven't really thought about what the problem, because the problem is not cybersecurity. The problem is not you need automations. The problem is not any of the problem is not the tech vomit that comes out of your mouth most of the time as an MSP. I remember I used to be number one tech vomit guy. Right? And it wasn't until I figured out that I needed to stop doing that and really focus on the business problems that the lawyers that I was working with had, or the when I went to ophthalmologists, or when I went to architects, until I didn't understand the problems that they had, there was nothing for me to talk about. And that's really, then it got good. Then you can do funny things. Then you can, you can because you understand, and you know what's funny to them, and you know how to break in and break the ice, and do something that's going to have them go, oh, that's funny.
Well, because when you're working with a particular uh, type of client, you know how they think, you know what their challenges are, you
Mhm.
know what, uh, and so now you can
Yeah.
uh, talk to them in
Yeah.
their world, and
Yeah.
that's when the entertaining content works. That's when the problems and solutions work, because you are addressing problems that they have. So so that's 100%. So Carla, do we have any questions?
So we actually had someone tune into YouTube, and his name is Tony. And it's not a question, but he agrees with you. He said storytelling is the key right now for every business. So we have a believer in us who says that he agrees that storytelling is definitely the key. So it's
But
always nice to hear.
storytelling is the key for engaging humans.
Yes.
So the more you can think in terms of story, the more you can think in terms of uh, providing a transformation for a hero in a story. And you can go back and look at the hero's journey, and there's always a hero and a villain, and the hero is your customer, and the villain is the thing that's keeping them from being complete. And then there's a fairy godmother who comes in and helps them out. You're the fairy godmother. And when you can start speaking in those terms, it connects with the way that we as human beings, I think it's one of the things that we all have in common is our understanding of story. I've always thought it'd be interesting to meet aliens who have a very different concept of story, and I wonder what it would be like
Yeah.
communicating with an alien who like did not get that same concept of story. I don't even know what that would be. I don't even know what a story that wasn't what I think of as a story would be. I can't even conceive of it. Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
anyway, that's that.
Right. So Jeff, so here's a question that I think everybody's got. It's like, how do I get started with my clients, with my business? How do I get started with that? How do I, because this is what I struggle with also as an MSP. It's like I could get the concept and the idea, but how do I get started? Like, what is the one thing I could do? Just
Well, I
one
think
thing.
so. I do think that the thing to do to get started is, we talked about the levels of awareness. So I go through, those levels of awareness and start thinking about, well, what is the content that you can create for each level of awareness. Like that's where I would get started with content creation and with matching your content to the levels of awareness is right there. And then Carla, can you share my screen again?
Sure.
And then I just want to remind everybody, we do have this event coming up October 17th. It is live in White Plains. It should be very interactive, very fun, very cool. So come join us. If you can't make it live, just sign up anyway. And we're going to make our best effort to record it in a way that you can get it and understand it. And we will make the tools that CISA shares with us available, and then you can access it there. So go ahead and sign up there. You can see we've got some of our great sponsors. We'll be having some LinkedIn lives with them over the next couple of weeks, and I hope to see everybody at the event on October 17th. Any closing words, Joe?
It's going to be awesome. You want to be there so that you can learn how to do a risk assessment that helps you make money. It's going to be awesome.
Well,
all right.
It's a risk assessment that you can sell. Like Joe always says, it's a risk assessment that you can sell for thousands of dollars. That has everything done. All you have to do is put your logo on it and sell it.
You put your logo on it and sell it. So that's
it doesn't get much easier, and they're going to teach us how to use the tools the right way.
And they're gonna teach you how to do a tabletop exercise. And if you have larger clients and you haven't done a tabletop exercise with them, the tabletop exercises are so valuable because you actually go through what would it be like to be ransomed, what would it be like to be breached, and you go through every day, and then you're talking to them about it, and you go, well, then this happens, and then they go, well, how do we protect against that? It's like, well, you don't have that tool. I've been talking to you about that, but this is why we need that tool. And they actually start to understand why you need things when you go through a tabletop exercise, because when you just tell them, oh, you need this, they don't know why they need it. But when you go through the exercise,
they're unaware. So they need some sort of entertaining content, which is the tabletop exercise that where they go through this process and they're drawn in, so that then they become problem aware, and then you can start talking to them about your solutions.
Look at Jeff.
See how it works? It all fits together. And on that, Carla, you were going to talk about upcoming events. I know, Joe, you're doing something special next Thursday.
Yes. So next, go ahead, Joe.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead, Carla. Bring it.
Carla, why don't you introduce the events and take us out?
All right. So next week we have the browser hacking and token theft lunch and learn, and we're going to be joined by Ryan Riccardi from SaaS Alerts. So Joe and Ryan will be on camera. They will be talking about the hidden dangers of cloud-based compromises. And it's kind of related to, our October 17th event. So we are in cybersecurity, fall
mode.
That's like kind of the theme of autumn mode. So, changes are happening. Changes are scary. So next week on September 19th, we're going to be talking about browser hacking and token theft. It'll be Ryan, it'll be Joe. You guys will have an amazing time. And obviously, as Jeff mentioned, on October 17th, we'll be having our live event. So very excited to see everyone. Joe, take us out.
Well, with that said, remember, everybody, you are loved. We'll see you soon. All right.